Hi, welcome to this session of Dismantle and Assemble a Pneumatic Cylinder. At the end of this session, you will be able to describe the dismantle and assembly procedure of pneumatic cylinder, list all the testing procedures, identify the complaints in pneumatic cylinder, and also its rectification methods. It's time to learn how to dismantle single and double acting pneumatic cylinder. While dismantling of the single acting cylinder, first we disconnect the compressed air lines from the cylinder, and by using proper screwdriver, the cylinder cover and port lines are to be dismantled. And after, by using a strap wrench or soft jaw wrench to hold the piston rod at the knurled surface, then remove and discard the self-locking nut, O-ring, and piston. To disassemble double-acting cylinder, use a strap wrench or soft jaw wrench to hold the piston rod and remove and retain the nut and washers. While before disconnecting of the compressed air tube lines, cylinder cover and port passages are dismantled. Let us now look at the reassembly procedure of pneumatic cylinder. Initiate assembling a pneumatic cylinder from the front end cap. Install the rod wiper seal properly in the groove. Install a new O-ring to the front end cap. Install the front bearing bush gently in the slot. Check the speed adjusting screws properly. Next, initiate assembling the rear end cap. Install the bearing bush gently in the slot. Install a new O-ring to the rear end cap. Inspect the speed adjusting screws. Now, both the front end and rear end caps are ready for further assembly. Next, let's see how to assemble the piston rod set. Before that, make sure the piston rod is free of nicks and burrs. Assemble both the new piston U-cap seals on the piston. Make sure the rubber face of the piston should face towards the rod and bearing. Install or place the wear band around the piston, specifically in between both the piston U-cup seals. Apply a light coat of grease completely around the piston U-cup seals on the front end cap and rear end cap, to the cylinder tube ID. If double acting, apply around the piston edge, and working length of the piston rod. Let's now assemble the cylinder tube with the rear and front end caps. Hold the bearing bush tightly and push the piston rod gently into the cylinder tube properly. Push and leave the piston halfway through the cylinder tube. Place the cylinder's front portion on the front end cap's edge close to the O-ring and tighten it well. Same way, place the back end cap on the other side of the cylinder close to the O-ring and press firmly until the piston rod and cylinder are placed well in the provided groove. Now, Let's install the tie rods and tie rod nuts. Finger tighten the nuts. Then cross tighten the nuts equally and tighten to a final torque. Reattach accessory items and air lines to the cylinder. Reinstall the cylinder in the machine and connect the air and electrical lines. Verify the proper operation of the cylinder. Now, you know the reassembly procedure of pneumatic cylinder. Let us look at the testing process of pneumatic cylinder. Apply air to the inlet port on the front end cap. Use a brush with a soap and water solution to check for leaks. Do not submerge the cylinder. With air applied to the speed fitting and the piston rod fully extended, open the air passage in the speed fitting and observe that the piston moves to the rear cap. Check for leakage at the front cap adjustment screw, at the front cap piston rod seal, at the rear cap adjustment screw and adjustment ports if equipped, from the piping between the speed fitting and the front end cap, from both ends of the cylinder at the cap gaskets, and from the speed fitting exhaust port. Repair any leaks and recheck. Finally, inspect the pneumatic cylinder for any complaints and take necessary measures. Inspect the inside surface of the cylinder tube and replace if the ID is worn out or if there are deep scratches or grooves on the inner surface. Always check the cylinder, tube and rod seal for rust or damage, as these are the areas most prone to wear and tear. If there is a lot of rust or damage, you might need to replace the entire cylinder and its mounting parts. Check to make sure there is no dust left on the outer air cylinder surface or on the mounting bracket. Let us have a look at probable causes and remedial actions when you find any trouble or fault in the pneumatic system. Machine is working but weak in performance due to slower operation. Leakage of air. Valve is connected but air escapes out of vent hole. Air escapes at piston. Valve leaks. Failure of solenoid coil. We have reached the end of this session on dismantle and assemble a pneumatic cylinder. By now, you should be able to describe the dismantle and assembly procedure of pneumatic cylinder, list the testing procedures and identify the complaints in pneumatic cylinder.